Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. 11 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Thursday morning, the 19th day of June, 2025. It's Juneteenth today, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I'm Scott Michlin, and welcome to KSJE 90.9 FM, broadcasting throughout San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango, Colorado, you can tune into us at 103.3 FM. And if you're listening to my voice anywhere else on the planet, you've gone to our website to do that, streaming all the time, ksje.com. Welcome also to our viewers this morning who are joining us. The video of this program streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. So welcome aboard, everyone. I am glad that you are joining us this morning because we're going to have an important conversation about heat and drought and fireworks safety and a whole lot more with my guest from San Juan County Fire and Rescue. That conversation begins in the next few moments right here on KSJE, so stay tuned for that. Next hour, of course, it's classical music with our Roving with the Arts program. Mick Hess will be here 1 hour from now at 9:06 on KSJE. A reminder, you can also connect with us on our other social media platforms in addition to Facebook and YouTube, like Instagram and Blue Sky now, and also X, formerly known as Twitter. And if you're a podcast person, you can also subscribe to KSJE Podcasts. You'll find them for free wherever you listen to podcasts. Check it out. Maybe discover a new local program that you may have missed recently. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, it is a sunny Thursday morning. The temperature already 71 degrees. We're expecting a very hot and hazy day today with a high of 95 at least. I've seen some models that project 101 today. We'll see. 65 and clear skies overnight tonight. Tomorrow, another hot day and windy day as well. Wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour are possible on Friday with a high of 94. Low of 60 Friday night. Then on Saturday, a little relief with a high of 88 degrees. 85 and sunshine on Sunday, 87 Monday. But then we're keeping an eye on maybe another potential piece of precipitation coming our way Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So we'll see if that develops into some significant rain or not. We'll be back with more with my guests from San Juan County Fire and Rescue right after this on KSJE. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center. The caregivers of San Juan Regional Medical Center are committed to bettering the quality of life, health, and care of individuals, families, and our communities. Life is their sacred trust. Better is their mission. Here is their home. San Juan Regional Medical Center, improving the health of the Four Corners since 1910.
Ahead, turn right.
Isn't it nice to have a little help getting where you're going?
Your destination is ahead and 300 feet.
When navigating life's challenges, the San Juan County Navigation Center can help you with navigating housing, navigating transportation, navigating medical providers, and more. Learn more online at sjcnavigate.net or call 505-636-7110. The Navigation Center, connecting to resources, empowering lives.
You have arrived at your destination.
And back in Studio A with my guest this morning, as I mentioned, from San Juan County Fire and Rescue. Joining me here in the studio, Chief David Vega is here. Welcome back. Good to have you here. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us back. Always good to be here.
You bet. You brought with you your Deputy Chief, Donovan Mack, who is here with us this morning. Deputy Chief Mack, welcome back.
Yep.
Good to have you here as well.
Thank you for having us.
You bet. Thank you both. And I think we should probably start with the weather. And it's sunny and hot like it usually is in June, but I know that raises some concerns because of fire danger. We have 4th of July coming up and fireworks. We'll get to that in a moment too. But what's the outlook? Last time you were here, it wasn't good. Is it any better, any worse? What are you saying? What do you think?
Yeah, we see such weather extremes in New Mexico, and
right.
in particular in northern New Mexico, and outlooks are great, but they're not always accurate. And it's kind of interesting to even just going back 2 or 3 weeks ago, the beginning of the month, we were having flooding here.
True.
In San Juan County.
Yeah,
and,
right.
So things were looking really, really good. Just in the past week, the heat's really turned on, and it doesn't really take long, to start drying out the fuels. So the next 2 or 3 weeks look hot and dry. Of course, that gets us through the 4th of July. So that always raises our awareness up a little bit. Right now the monsoons, the outlook for the monsoons are saying the monsoons are going to be on time, and then maybe a little bit robust, but certainly we got another 2 or 3 weeks of hot and dry weather, windy to get through. So it always keeps us on our toes.
Sure. And some of the calls that you've been getting, fire calls and things like that, are those weather related, or are they just other reasons?
Yeah, other reasons, but certainly the hot and dry factors are contribute to it.
Spread, I guess, right?
It definitely helps, ease the spread of the fire. It's really labor intensive when it gets this really hot. So, normally, and certainly Chief Mack can talk about it, but the productivity of our firefighters just goes down, when it's super hot. So, a job or a fire that may take 15 folks. When it's this hot, it just, you really have to double your workforce. So the weather is certainly a contributing factor, not the cause of the rash of fires that we've had the past week, but it's a contributing factor for sure.
Right, but certainly could spread, I guess, if it's not broken down, or don't take precautions when you're fighting whatever caused the fire.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, two scenarios, right? A structure fire that then spreads into the wildland, or a wildland fire that turns into a wildland urban interface fire. So we often see that transition happening.
Gotcha. Very good. Deputy Chief Mack, I want to bring you into the conversation too about these fires and just how quickly, I guess, things could spread because of these dry conditions if your crews aren't on top of it, and they are.
Extremely fast. Fire behavior is very high at this time, and things move fast with the winds. We get the different winds that come in, and the heat doesn't help. And we don't have enough firefighters to originally get there, so we have to call in extra people and extra help, because like Chief said earlier, it cuts us down about 50% of what we can do. Normally we can go 15, 20, 30 minutes. Now we're 10, 15 minutes that we can last before we got to try to get a water break.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about the gear that you guys your folks, not your guys and gals, are wearing out in the field, because it's a lot of stuff, right, to protect them, but it's also heavy, and it's also hot when it's hot outside, right?
Sure.
And that affects their.
So if it's a house fire, we're in full structural ensemble, and that cuts our time even more. We do have some what we call dual cert gear that we use on brush fires and mop up after a fire. We try to get into that as soon as we can, and we have to wear our breathing apparatus so we're not breathing the smoke. And so with all that, it is very hard on us.
Sure.
It's very hard on all the members. It doesn't matter how physically fit we are, it eats us up.
Very true. And there's training for that too, I know, as well. When you're bringing new folks on board, they train in those types of conditions, but still, it's still not fun.
Yes, sir.
So, lack of a better term. So, but that's important to know. But we appreciate you all going out and under any conditions to fight these fires and things like that. And I know maybe there's a couple of days of rain in the forecast. That's maybe some great news, and then again, not so great news, because that causes maybe some more fuels to grow if there's moisture, right?
Yeah, there's certainly the potential for lightning. That's the other thing that we start to worry about this time of year with the early onset of the monsoons. Usually that first week of the monsoons are the dry monsoons, as we call it, and so you see a lot of lightning and not a whole lot of precipitation. So it's a little bit it's again one of those situations where we always look forward to the moisture, but the lightning without moisture causes us problems for sure. So it's one of those things we're definitely tracking.
Got you. But still no restrictions necessarily. We're not in any kind of a fire. I know there's a no burn day today especially, but no other restrictions that I'm aware of.
Yeah, we are not issuing burn permits now through the weekend, and next week we'll evaluate whether we're starting to hit our parameters for issuing actual restrictions. Of note, the Navajo Nation just last week went into open burning restrictions.
They did.
Stage 1. The federal agencies have not yet, but again, if the hot and dry weather continues over the next week or so, some of those matrices are going to be coming into line, so you may see some restrictions coming up. We'll see what this little squirt of moisture, if that develops next week, but I certainly wouldn't be surprised if you start to see some restrictions coming into play over the next week or so.
Gotcha. So for folks who may be planning a 4th of July camping trip or something, that may impact their plans, even though they could still camp, just not with a campfire.
Yeah, absolutely. All the national forests, whether it's here in New Mexico, the Carson National Forest or the San Juan National Forest, look at their social media pages. If there's any fire restrictions, those are going to be on those pages. Certainly, we'll put them on our social media.
Yeah.
So, if you are heading out, look at those restrictions. But regardless, it is hot and dry. Those simple things that you can do. Always have a water source nearby. Make sure if you do have a campfire, you've got a campfire ring around it so that fire can't come outside the ring. Some really, common sense steps.
Right.
Never leave a fire unattended. Those are all really common sense things. So regardless, just recognize the conditions.
Sure. And I know you say that every year, and I appreciate that you say it every year because it needs to be said every year because there are still, unfortunately, fires that are caused by folks who aren't taking those precautions, and in certain conditions they can spread. We've seen some really serious and devastating forest fires and wildland fires in other areas, maybe not ours necessarily, but regionally, that can be devastating.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'll bring it back here locally, and Chief Mack can talk a little bit about this, but it's so unfortunate this time of year. We see some devastating losses of private property. Very innocently, someone will go out, with the intention to burn some weeds. Of course, this time of year the cotton is flying, and that's a really highly flammable, fuel package. But something as innocent as going out and burning some weeds can turn disastrous. And Chief Mack was on an incident like that last night. And if you want to talk a little bit more about it, but
just last night, yeah, what happened?
Just last night, we had a fire in Bloomfield, and it was just a simple, going to burn a few weeds next to the fence, and it turned devastating. There was a home that was burned and two vehicles, and
Yikes.
it just it turned into a 4-hour event for us. And
Wow. It spread so quickly.
it spread so quickly over a small area. This was about maybe a 10-foot area. They were just going to burn some weeds, and it just turned into a mess.
Wow. Well, that just tells you how quickly these things can maybe get out of control. And I'm sure the homeowner or whomever was doing it had every intention to keep it under control and
Yeah.
had made precautions,
I
hopefully.
think it was very innocent.
Yeah,
very
yeah.
innocent.
Exactly. So it can happen under these conditions, that's for sure. So,
Yep.
and we should all be aware of that since this is the place that we live and it's sensitive to fire and fire danger. And that brings up the topic of fireworks, which we are about to get into the season. Sales start tomorrow. You were telling
They
me.
start tomorrow.
Okay.
Yep, on the 20th, they'll start, and we just ask people to be cautious and be aware of their surroundings. Water, keep some water. Once they've lit the fireworks, put them in a bucket of water, let them set. Keep your area, your land around your home. Keep it clear of weeds, debris. Try not to light fireworks in any areas that have weeds, and keep that area clean that you're going to do it on.
Right.
Preferably pavement would be the best place to be lighting off these, or an area that's clear of all vegetation.
Sure. Very true. And again, I think it's always important to point out that you are operating under the rules and laws of the state of New Mexico. Mm-hmm. The city and I think the county has done all that they legally can do to limit the sale and use of certain types of fireworks and things like that. And so when we talk about these things, you're really working within the confines of the state law that's allowed in parts of San Juan County and the cities of San Juan County.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
that's what's happening. But as they start selling these tomorrow, I think the rule of thumb is always if you live in the county and you buy fireworks in the county, you can be assured that those are legal to use in the county. Vice versa is also true if you live in the city and you're buying fireworks in the city, then those are the ones that are legal to use in the city limits. Is that a good rule of thumb?
yeah. In essence, if you're buying fireworks out in the county, those in particular aerials, and that's always the the
Right.
particular device that comes into play. Aerials are not allowed within the Farmington city limits. The city council has passed an ordinance that prohibits the discharge and use of aerials within the city limits of Farmington. The county does not have that restriction, so again, be aware of that if you are going out and purchasing that type of firework in the county. Make sure that that is a firework that is allowed within the city of Farmington. And again, aerials is really what we're talking about there.
Sure. Aztec and Bloomfield don't have those same types of restrictions. And I know you're with the county, so.
City of Bloomfield does have a safe and sane restriction.
Okay.
So this, that same rule applies there, along with Aztec. Kirtland does not have an adopted ordinance
Gotcha.
as such.
Gotcha. Very good. Good to know. And the big change this year that I think folks have heard about, but if they haven't, we want to let them know, is the county has had to stop the annual gathering for folks to set off their fireworks at McGee Park for the first time in a number of years. And so that's, I think, something the county maybe didn't want to do, but kind of had to do. It's an insurance issue, right?
Yeah, so just some history for the listeners. Several years ago, the county opened that parking lot up. You heard Chief Mack mention earlier. Ideally, you're discharging fireworks in areas that are completely barren of vegetation. So the county, opened that parking lot up for families to come and set off some small displays and things like that. Over the years, that turned into several thousand people. Through some technology, we were able to track the number of people coming in and out over that weekend, and it really turned into a giant safety issue. And unfortunately, there's not a great way to regulate the amount of people that come in and out of there. So it did turn into an issue with the insurance carrier for the county. And unfortunately, it's not an event that the insurance company was going to carry or sponsor without having people sign liability forms to go in there, which obviously is not practical.
Right.
So out of a massive abundance of safety and caution, the county did restrict the discharge of fireworks in McGee Park. We will have crews out there patrolling to make sure that people are not in there. And you could be trespassed out of there if you do. So, again, just out of a real abundance of safety, we had to go in there and cancel that.
Gotcha. So that space will not be available this year. Certainly, you can find some other maybe spots. Your driveway, I think, would make sense, or other things, as Deputy Chief Mack was describing, to safely light your fireworks if that's something you choose to do. But unfortunately, you can't do it at McGee Park this year. I know there was an issue too of trying, if there was a problem, God forbid, getting emergency vehicles into that space as well because of how crowded it was becoming, almost a victim of its own success, really. Yeah,
that's a great way of putting it, Scott. Again, there was no way to really, without going in there and laying out independent pods or things of that nature, there just wasn't a real practical or easy way to regulate the space or the amount of people coming in there. So you really nailed it. Had there been a medical emergency or any kind of issue out in the middle of that, there was no great way for us as responders to get in there. Unfortunately, you do see alcohol coming in there. That leads to fights and disturbances. There were family disturbances that we had to break up last year. So all contributing factors to the totality of the situation out there. Sure. Very unfortunate. So again, no fireworks at McGee Park this season. But there certainly will be other professional fireworks shows in the community that folks can certainly get their fix if they're looking for fireworks. And so, again, it's important to note that City of Farmington's going to have their show on the 3rd. Again, here off of Sullivan Hill, which I know Salmon College is a great viewing spot for families to come and enjoy. Also, the City of Bloomfield is returning with their big show on the 5th of July. Yeah.
And that's a big deal as well.
Yeah.
So.
Great shows, both in Farmington and Bloomfield, and great places for you and your family to come out and watch outstanding shows very safely And we talked earlier about the parade.
Right, exactly.
That's going to be happening.
4th of July parade is
4th,
back on the
yeah.
4th, so folks will be able to enjoy that downtown in downtown Farmington. Thank you, Film Four Corners, for taking over that and organizing the 4th of July parade. So there are certainly plenty of things for folks to do and families to do over the 4th of July holiday coming up. But again, for the professional shows, there's great vantage points both in Farmington and Bloomfield. It's things that the fire departments can plan for. If there is a problem, you can get on it right away.
Absolutely.
And that's why these shows are able to continue even in drier conditions.
Absolutely.
Which is kind of great to be able to see. So we appreciate that as well from all your crews and getting ready to stage and be ready for that in all these areas. So
Absolutely.
very good. Busy time though for your department. I know you've had a lot of calls. I pulled up the numbers from May, I think.
Yeah.
And maybe a lot of folks would be surprised to know just how many calls come in for San Juan County Fire and Rescue. Let's take a look at just this call volume from May. A total of almost, over 750 calls, 769 for exact. 27 fires you responded to.
Yep.
And
27 fires and 435 EMS calls.
yeah, that's in 1 month.
That's in 1 month.
Okay.
That's
That's 31 days in May, but still,
Yeah.
that's still
And we've
a
been
lot of calls.
averaging something similar to that every month this year.
And this is with a lot of, I know you have a small contingent of paid folks, but a lot of volunteers who also give up their time
Right.
and talent to respond to these calls, correct?
We have 80 volunteers right now. So not a lot to take care of that amount of calls.
Right. I mean, our math folks can do the math on those calls and figure out how many calls 80 volunteers would have to go on. I know they don't all go on every call, but that's a lot for your folks.
Yeah, it's a large call load, and we're certainly thankful for our volunteer staff, and they do an incredible job, and we're always looking for more dedicated and talented volunteers, and we'll have another recruitment window coming up starting in August, and we hope for a big recruitment class. We've got a great class of volunteer cadets that are going through
Nice.
the training pipeline right now. And so we're certainly looking forward to them hitting the streets coming up, and again looking for a strong recruitment class coming up starting in August. But it's busy, and we do have again for the folks that may not know, we are a combination fire department. So we both have we have a volunteer staff, what we call our reserve firefighters, and then we have our paid components. We have 2 paid stations with 3 engine companies that we staff in Bloomfield and in over on our west side in Kirtland. So we do have full-time staff that again is supported by our volunteer staff, and it's a rocking department. We don't ever sleep. We're always going.
I don't think so. Not with those numbers, that's for sure. And again, because of those paid-off firefighters and rescue personnel, that just ensures that if their call does come in, you've got staff to send
Absolutely.
to those calls. Obviously, if you had a fuller staff of volunteers, you could certainly rescue, get to more of those calls too with just your volunteers. And so I always like to put the word out to folks if they're interested to find out more about the opportunities. You don't have to wear the gear necessarily and still be a volunteer with the fire and rescue department. If you want to, I don't know, deal with the media or direct traffic or whatever the case may be, those are some of the other jobs I think that are maybe non-firefighting but also still important jobs to have.
Yeah, we've got.
Am I right?
We've got some support roles.
Yeah.
When we recruit, we obviously want to. Ideally, we're recruiting a candidate that's going to come in and go through the same pipeline as our career staff.
Okay.
We need those firefighters on the volunteer side that can come in and handle any type of emergency.
Good point.
So the ideal candidate for us is someone that's community service oriented. Obviously in a physical condition that can perform arduous duty, and can successfully navigate the training pipeline of being a firefighter and medical responder. But we do have support roles, and listen, if you want to come in and do something with us, we can absolutely explore opportunities.
Gotcha. Good to know. And if I live in Farmington, let's say, but I work in Bloomfield, can I still be a volunteer with San Juan County Fire and Rescue?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And I guess then the idea would be if there's a call and I'm in Bloomfield and there's a call in Bloomfield, I could respond to that call.
Yeah,
or
so
anywhere,
there's
really.
There's still that the call when needed model that still exists. But
Right.
As our organization grows and develops, and as the need for our services arises, our staffing models have definitely changed. The old volunteer, that old volunteer mentality, Scott, was exactly that. It was basically a call when needed.
Okay.
Model. When we're a fire department that's running 8,000 calls a year. That call when needed model just doesn't really meet the needs of the citizens.
Okay.
So we've had to adopt and change our and adapt to that need. So we do have programs that allow our volunteers to sign up for shifts.
I see.
At specific stations.
Gotcha.
So there's not that delay, right? So in that call when needed system, in a traditional volunteer service. You get the call if you're at home, you travel to the fire station.
Right.
Then, when you get to the station, you travel to the call. So there's that time delay there.
Sure.
So it's much more efficient when we have our folks signing up for shifts at the stations. It just eliminates that time lag. So again, when you're running 8,000 calls a year, that call when needed, it doesn't work great. It's certainly not efficient. So.
Gotcha. Not your preferred way
Absolutely.
to run the department, which makes a lot of sense as you describe it to me and explain it to me. And so if I'm signing up to be a volunteer, I'm also committing to serving a certain amount of hours every week, every month at a station to fill that need. That's what I'm signing up for.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Got it.
Absolutely.
Very good. And you guys provide a lot of training for your volunteers. It's a full program, right?
Sure.
Chief?
Yeah. It's a full program. You get fire, EMS, extrication, hazmat, wildland training. You get SEVO driving course. The other thing is that we have a nominal fee program for the volunteers. So
Right.
as they respond to calls, they can pick up some extra money if that's what they're looking for.
Sure.
Per se, a part-time job.
Right.
So shifts pay an amount of money, and then per call pays an amount of money.
Okay.
So
that's built into the program as
it's
well.
built into the program. Yes.
Gotcha. Very good.
It's paid we pay for your training, but we also give you nominal fees to attend the training.
See? Win-win.
Win-win.
There you go. And so, as you mentioned, you're going to be recruiting in the later this summer in August, right?
Starts in August, but you can get on the San Juan County Fire and Rescue website. You can fill out a form that you're interested. We'll make contact with you, see what you're looking for, what you're interested in. Explain to you the process, get you excited about it.
Right.
And then in August you would fill out an application, and the process would start to get you ready for training in January.
That's how it goes. So that's great. And then the January training, and as you mentioned, you've got some folks in the pipeline, and
Yep.
they'll be graduating sometime soon.
That'll be December. The ones now
So
that are
it's
in
12
the
months.
pipeline will come. Yeah, it's about a 12-month training process,
Okay.
and
Very good. How many do you have in the training right now? Do you
I believe
know the
we
number?
have 14 right now.
14.
Yeah, 14, 15 candidates going through the pipeline
Okay.
right now. It's intensive.
Well, they're getting all that training that Deputy Chief explained. Yeah, it's a
and
lot.
again, you're accommodating schedules for folks that have full-time jobs. So of course, accommodating their full-time jobs, it does draw out that training pipeline a little bit. But the benefit of the changes that we've done, Scott, is when our cadets pass the academy right now, on the volunteer reserve side,
Right.
They're coming out with all their medical certifications, structure firefighter 1 and 2, wildland, hazmat. So that candidate is immediately ready to hit the street running and able to do the job in all types of emergencies. So
Gotcha.
it's intensive. It's not something that everyone can do. Certainly all the volunteer fire departments or combination fire departments across the state of New Mexico and really across the entire union everyone's struggling with bringing in volunteers right now because it is labor intensive.
Sure.
And you're asking someone to do a full-time job and not get really a whole lot of compensation for it. We do have the nominal fee program, obviously, but it's not for everyone,
Right.
know? And so again, that's why we do go out and we'll be recruiting, and we hope for a big recruitment class this year.
Okay, very good. Well,
And if
hopefully-
you're 17, going to be 18 by January,
Okay.
that's what we're looking for. If you're looking to maybe make a career in firefighting,
Absolutely.
we're going to be able to get you started. No cost to you. We'll put you through the training, and those are people that fire departments look to hire as people that already have training, so we can get that. You can volunteer a little time, give back to your community, and
Good point.
Get a career.
Very good point. So that's great, and it may be a good fit. You never know, and so
Sure.
that's what folks should start be thinking about at almost any age, right? But if you're going to be 18 by January, that would you'd be good to go. So that's how it works.
Go.
Well, gentlemen, we are out of time. I'm sorry to say, but I appreciate you both coming in to talk about these really important issues, weather related and fireworks related, and keeping everyone safe, which is, I know, job one for you folks. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you both. My guest this morning from San Juan County Fire and Rescue, here with me on KSJE. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.